Hey guys, what's up? So I finally finished Persona 5 for the PlayStation 3. That was just yesterday, last night. And I wanted to share my thoughts with you on the game because it was a game that was overhyped last year. Right now the hype, I think it's over, or at least it has calmed down quite a bit. But I think a lot of people are still calling this game the best RPG ever made, or the best, at least the best JRPG ever made. Or maybe the best JRPG for the last and current generation. Obviously that's debatable, but the question here is, do I think, if this is the game, do I think this is the best JRPG ever made? Or the best of the last generation, or the best of the current generation? As usual, I am not going to talk or discuss about the current generation because I don't own a PS4, I don't own an Xbox One, I don't own a Nintendo Switch, I don't even own a Nintendo Wii U. I don't even know what generation does the Wii U belong to, but whatever. So I obviously haven't played the PS4 version. I'm pretty sure it's the same game, but just with different graphics, like always. However, if I'm wrong, please tell me in the comment section below, because I have no clue what are the differences between the PS4 version and this one right here, except for the graphics, which are pretty much obvious. So, Persona 5. Is it a great game? It is. I know you're probably thinking, or you were probably thinking that I was going to say that this game is overrated. Sorry to disappoint you, I don't think it's overrated. I think it's a great game. But what surprises me and what almost baffled me was that I've been playing JRPGs for almost 15 years already, and I've been playing video games all my life, ever since I was, I think, 5 years old. Where the first console that I played was the NES. We had the NES, me and my brother and sister. So yeah, I've been playing video games my whole life. And this has got to be, I'm pretty sure, the longest video game that I have ever played in my life. I can't believe how long it is. And trust me, I play this on easy mode. So I had no need at all in the entire game for grinding. Sure, I was killing almost every single enemy in the game, not all of them, but some of them, most of them. But I don't think I did any extra stuff like side quests, where this game doesn't really have any side quests. The only side quests it has are the famous mementos, but that's a spoiler and I don't want to get into that. I'll get into spoilers at the end, but I'm gonna make a spoiler alert. So the thing is that I don't feel as if I did anything besides the main story. I don't feel as if I played anything apart from that, and I still did that on easy mode from beginning to the end. 85 hours. 85 hours, man! Seriously? I mean, I know there are longer games out there in existence, and I know you're obviously gonna come up to my channel and say in the comment sections that you have 200 hours in the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, or you have, I don't know, 300 hours in this other game. That's okay, but that's because you're doing side quests, you're doing grinding, you're taking every single drop of the juice the game has to offer. Okay, but if we play a game from the beginning to the end, and with no side quests, or with nothing really extra, and no grinding, 85 hours, I really invite you to put in the comment section to tell me about a game that is longer than this one. Because to me, and according to my research, and according to all those tons of JRPGs and RPGs that I played in my life, this is the longest one of all time. But well, that's beside the point. The thing is, I don't think Persona, that's the answer to this question for this video. I don't think it's the best JRPG ever made. No way. That there's like hundreds or at least dozens of games, not thousands, dozens of games that are way more better than this one. For example, in my opinion, Persona 3 is way better than Persona 5. To me, that's the best Persona ever made. But if I had to choose a second one, it'll be Persona 5, as a matter of fact. I have played every single Persona game ever made. Well, there's just 6. And the first one for the PS1 was, I hate that game, you know that. I hate that game, it's terrible in my opinion. People have been saying that the PSP version is so much better. I'll have to check it out one day. The PlayStation 1 versions, the Eternal Punishment and Innocent Sin, I played them both on the PS1 and I played them both on the PSP. I didn't finish any of them because they're just so goddamn annoying and frustrating, but they're really good games. So I can't really say they're the best. Persona 3, even fast, I have beaten it like 3 times in a row. Well, not in a row, but between, I don't know, a couple of years difference. And I love that game with all my soul. Persona 4 was okay, but I think it's overrated. I don't think it's as great. And well, it's a matter of perspectives. I like, I'm into rock music, gothic, metal, industrial. I'm a very dark person. I like psychological stories and all that jazz. And Persona 4 was more oriented to teens. I mean, Persona 3 and 5 as well. But the situation, the conflict, the main conflicts in Persona 3 and 5, in my opinion, are a little more adult oriented. And Persona 4 was all that about J-pop. It has J-pop written all over its face, idols and all that stuff. And well, I didn't really like that game. It's a good game. I did beat it. I enjoyed it, but that's okay. Persona 5, however, the way I see it, it kind of took elements from Persona 3 and Persona 4 and mixed it all together to make this one. It has a lot of noir influence, a lot of, you know, those black crime, black dramas and thieves and all that stuff. That's the main topic of the game. And the comparison between this and our current situation as humans, the current situation of humanity and society and how everything is globalized, it's pretty interesting. But I'll get into that later in the spoiler section. For now, and technically in conclusion, is it a great game? Yes, it is. Is it one of the best JRPGs I've ever played for the PS3? It is. I don't think it's the best. You know my favorites. My favorites are Nier, Valkyria Chronicles, Eternal Sonata, The Tales of. I think those games, in my opinion, are better than this one, but to each their own, right? Everybody has their own likings and opinion. But the truth is, it is one of the best PS3 games I've ever played in my life. That's the truth, actually. I really like this game. Now, is it the best JRPG of all time? Of course not. There's no best RPG or best game or best whatever. That's always gonna be subjective. Everything that starts off with the best this, the best song, the best artist, the best painter, the best video game, the best book, whatever, it's always subjective. Art is subjective. That, in my, well, I don't think it's my opinion, that is an objective statement actually. Art is subjective and therefore there is no best anything out there except your favorite. So I don't think it's the best. Now, do I consider it the best JRPG ever made? No. Do I consider it the best JRPG of the last generation? No, I don't. Like I said, I think there are greater games. I see its greatness. I see that the fact that it's really long and really entertaining. I mean, I didn't get bored in this game one single second. The entire game is awesome, but it just lacks in some departments that I'll get to in the end. If you're curious, if you haven't played this game or if you haven't beaten it, and if you're curious about my opinion without spoilers, I think it lacks in the department of story. The story is really long and really well constructed, but there are some things that make absolutely no sense. That's all I'm gonna say. But I think it's lacking in that department because the game is very dark, the game is very obscure in terms of story, and the game's very psychological, and it's just a strong criticism against society, and you usually don't associate that with J-pop, right? But anyway, forget about that. The thing is that it's a great game. Do I think it's the best JRPG for the last generation? No, I don't. It's one of the best, yes, not the best. And do I think it's one of the best JRPGs for this generation? I have no clue, because I haven't played almost anything from this generation. Probably the most popular ones, and according to the public opinion, the best out there, it could very well be Nier Automata and Persona 5. Those two are like the kings of RPGs from this generation. I think Xenoblade Chronicles 2 could be second to them, maybe Ni no Kuni 2, I don't know. Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming up, Octopath Traveler is coming up, Shining Resonance is coming up, the new Fire Emblem is coming up, but those are games that haven't been released yet. So as of today, in this month, June 2018, is it the best JRPG of this generation? Not in my opinion, because, I mean, I have no opinion at all, but it could be. It could be one of the best. I mean, it did win the award for best game in the Game Awards, for best JRPG, for best RPG. So maybe it is. The thing is, in conclusion, it's a great game. Was it overhyped? Yes. Is it still overhyped? I don't think so. I think the hype is over. And is it overrated? No. I think Persona 4 is overrated. I don't think Persona 5 is overrated, because it did meet my expectations. It didn't surpass them, but it didn't disappoint them. It met my expectations. I see its greatness, just like Chrono Trigger. You know me, I don't think, many people think that I think Chrono Trigger is overrated. It's not. And Chrono Trigger and Persona 5 are those are completely different games from completely different eras. But if there's one thing I can compare these to, is their popularity. And I don't think both games are overrated. Overhyped? Yes. Overrated? No. Not at all. They're great games, and I totally recommend them. So now, that's it. Let's get into the spoiler section. If you haven't played this game, or if you haven't beaten it, especially if you haven't beaten it, I suggest you turn this video off, because I'm going to talk about the ending, because without the ending, I cannot give a full opinion of this game. And like always, this is not a review, okay? It's just me stating my opinion on one of the most, I think, historically important games of our modern times. So spoiler alert! Turn this video off if you haven't beaten the game. Okay, with that clarified, let's begin. The story. Because the game, in terms of gameplay and, all that jazz, it's very similar to the previous Persona. So if you play them, Persona 4, Persona 3, it's very similar. It's just longer than them. Way longer. I think the Persona 3 and 4, you can beat them in around 50 hours, probably 60. And I think Persona 5 was made longer in purpose, in a good sense. Maybe because they wanted to impress the players. I don't know. I have no idea what was their original intention. It's probably that, as a marketing strategy. And that was great. I mean, in my opinion, a lot of people think that long games are really boring. I didn't think it was boring. I think it was great. I wish it could have been longer, but that's just me. The thing is, the story. The story of this game is a huge mess. I have no idea how. I am a writer, and I do like creating complicated stories, but the gist about creating these kinds of stories in these kinds of universes, especially modern times, is that you have a lot of stuff going on at the same time, and when you're near the end, when you start wrapping all things up, it's extremely difficult. And I don't know what happened with these guys, that there were some, not plot holes, but some things that are just pretty damn stupid or just don't make any sense. Okay, the ending. Again, spoiler alert. If you've beaten this game, stay with me. The ending of this game. When I was about to enter the final dungeon, and I mean the depths of the mementos, not that last part where you just walk up some twisted stairs and get to the final boss. No, I mean the actual final dungeon, which is the depth of the mementos. Before that point, my opinion on the game was, it's a good story. It's playable, it's likable, enjoyable, but nah, it's not Persona 3. However, as soon as they enter there and start making all these metaphors about humanity, about how humans nowadays, most humans, especially millennials, nowadays don't think for themselves. They're just following trends. They're just following everything the government or the media tells them, the internet or the television tells them, and how they don't think for themselves and they don't give a shit. They just want to live like that and be happy with a new ruler. I don't live in Japan, so I have no idea how things are going on right now in that country. But everything nowadays is globalized, and I think a lot of countries are going through the same situation. And the point of this game was to remind us of what we already know. Humanity is rotten, the society sucks, is wrong, it needs to be changed, people suck, whatever. And I don't mock those topics, I actually write about those topics. I agree. I am one of those guys that says that society is a piece of shit and whatever. But the thing is that it kind of resonated with me because of that, because I like that stuff, because I'm always criticizing society in my books. So it resonated with me, and I really like that. You know, all this political situation against one of the final bosses, which is the candidate Shiro, Masayoshi Shiro, something like that, the bald guy with the glasses. And all these references to our current international situation are great. It blew my mind, and it was thanks to that final dungeon that I love the game. Because the plot twist with Akechi, that he was the bad guy and he was the black mask guy and killing and causing the mental shutdowns and all that stuff, it wasn't predictable, I'm gonna be honest with you. But when I learned about it, it was like, I don't care. You know, I just don't care. And all they did about involving the police inside the metaverse and then creating an entire room outside the metaverse but inside the metaverse and faking the suicide of the main character, I'm sorry, that was just pretty fucking stupid, extremely stupid, but that's just my opinion. However, after beating this final dungeon, I was in love with the game, and then all the Velvet Room stuff starts going on. We realized that Igor wasn't not really Igor, the real Igor, and I kind of had that feeling since the beginning. It wasn't predictable at all. I didn't expect that, but when the game started and Igor appeared, or however it's pronounced, Igor appeared, his voice actor was entirely different from previous games. He had a different voice before, and now he was just this guy like this, and that was pretty awesome. But I kind of said, well, maybe they changed the voice actor, but it turns out that they changed it on purpose because that wasn't the real Igor, and the fusion of the twins to Lavenza, I think Lavenza, she's beautiful, and I love that character. So everything so far up until that point was amazing. I really liked that. But then the final sequences happened. The final, not dungeon, the final battles against the angels, and how this new Holy Grail is the final boss, and it's supposed to be a god, and then at the end the protagonist summons Satan, Satanael or Sataniel, whatever, it's fucking Satan, come on. It summons Lucifer to defeat God. Now how much Satanism is in this game? I'm agnostic, I am not a Catholic, so I don't really care about religion, but seriously, to summon Lucifer, Satan, to defeat God, I was like, seriously? And he one shot kills him. That's the end of the game. So, is it a good story? Yes, it is. But in my opinion, they fucked up with that. I mean, it wasn't necessarily at all. It kind of ruined the story for me, making all that exaggerated stuff, and the plot twist with Akechi and the suicide, they couldn't even explain it properly until much later where Futaba says something about how they managed to create a room inside the metaverse and lied to Akechi. Well, it's a good story. If you take all those things apart, all those things away, it's still a decent story, it's still a good story. I wish they wouldn't have made those things, because if you take those things away, in my opinion, the story's freaking great, but they just had to satisfy a certain market, or I have no idea. The thing is, in my opinion, they fucked it up and they ruined almost the entire story for me. But I still managed to enjoy it. I still managed to say, well, it's an RPG, it's Persona, and it's Japan, after all. So it's still a great game. And if you've beaten this game, and if you want to share something about the story, or discuss my opinion, please, before writing any kind of comment, please put spoiler alert. Okay, so other people won't get spoiled by reading those comments. But anyway, I'm guessing that a lot of people will have common sense and think that if I'm talking about spoilers, the comment section is obviously therefore going to be full of spoilers. So they probably won't read anything. But if you want to discuss the story, or particularly the ending, please give us a warning, give them a warning that you're going to write a big spoiler. That's all I'm going to ask. So that's it. Share your opinion as usual. Is it the best JRPG ever made? No, it isn't. Is it one of the best JRPGs ever made? Nah, it isn't. Is it one of the best of the last generation? Yes. Is it one of the best of the current generation? I don't know, but I'm gonna say yes. But don't trust that opinion. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time.